And our special guest this evening is Matt here, N3NWV, Bob Rampolla, W2MSA, and my friend across the Hudson. Okay, so here we are for Fairlawn Amateur Radio Club introduction to Parks on the Air. This presentation was originally made by Bob, W2MSA, who shared it amongst the POTA community, and I added it for the Fairlawn Amateur Radio Club. And our special guest this evening is Matt here, N3NWV, Bob Rampolla, W2MSA, and my friend across the Hudson, Harold Broomfield, KC2BPP. They're all avid enthusiasts of the Parks on the Air program, and I know Matt here, N3NWV has many instructional videos out there, and is always helping out the POTA community on being more active, more efficient, and enjoying this aspect of the hobby. Bob Rampolla also does a lot of it's very active in the Parks on the Air, and Harold does a lot of QRP, which I highly respect. So he makes his contacts out there, QRP, CW, and so forth. So thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to look at the ham radio hobby as a whole, and there's many aspects to it that we all enjoy. You have the VHF, UHF, and up, and repeaters, satellites, weak signals, chasing rare DX, vintage radio, single sideband AM, contesting, field day, portable, mobile, awards chasing, experimenting, and building, which I actually love that part of the hobby. EMM communications, MCOM, emergency communications, HF, CW, phone, and digital, and more. There's a lot of aspects to the hobby, as we all know. How many of us enjoy the following? Collecting awards, contesting, chasing rare DX, participating in worked all state type nets, outdoor activities like hiking and camping, field day, portable operations, experimenting, building and testing antennas, radios, etc., working weak signals, satellite, etc., making contacts using digital modes like PSK31, RIDI, FT8, running QRP. Well, now we have Parks on the Air, which we enjoy quite a bit. Parks on the Air, I don't know if many of you probably remember, but back in 2016, it was basically a year-long special event called National Parks on the Air. It was created to celebrate 100-year anniversary of our National Park Service. Some of the leadership of POTA were involved in National Parks on the Air originally. Parks on the Air is an organization that encourages its members to go out and operate their ham radios in great outdoors. It also encourages members to hunt those activating in these beautiful places. These places include designated state and federal parks, as well as certain national historic sites and wildlife management areas. Both the activators and hunters can earn many different awards. These awards are similar to ARRL type awards, worked all states awards, except there are no QSL cards or card checking involved. The activator logs is his or her contacts and simply creates an ADF file of the log that is sent to the regional director for upload to the POTA system. Yes, POTA has their own system, and we'll get a little more into that later on. The awards are earned by making contacts and then sent to you electronically in an email. Then you can simply print them out if you wish. That's pretty nice. You get these awards, and you can look into your once you log in, you can look at your progress and print out your own awards. So you don't really have to pay for anything extra, you know. So participating in Parks on the Air activation includes many of the same aspects of ham radio that I laid out. I'm getting a screen here. Hold on. When participating in POTA, you are either an activator. You're either an activator or a hunter. Activators must be located within the boundaries of an approved park, and you're setting up to have hunters contact you. Activators can also hunt other activators, what is known as a park-to-park contact. Hunters can make contacts with any activator regardless of hunter's location. Let's look at it from an activator's perspective first. Activator, let's see. The operator gets to schedule a field day type event anytime. And I'm talking about anytime, around the clock. It gets pretty intense. The activator gets to decide what radio, what antenna, how to power it, where to operate from. Picked from the long list of approved locations from the Parks on the Air website, as well as choose whatever mode they prefer. Many use the old standard of paper and pen, which is just fine, and then log it digitally later. Others prefer to use electronic logging in the field. That's my preference, electronic. But paper is definitely more reliable, I guess, as long as you're using a pencil, not a pen. A pen could run out of ink, right? You can rough it and hike miles to top of mountains, deep into woods, or simply operate from your vehicle, or while sitting comfortably at a picnic table under a pavilion. So there's a wide range of comforts and challenges when you're activating. Okay, these are a bit of the rules. The rules can get really involved, and they're constantly updating. I spoke to Bob earlier this week, W2MSA, and he informed me that there are some updates to the rules. So it would definitely be good to once you log into the website, the POTA website, you can see all the updates and so forth. But the activator and all the equipment you use need to be within the perimeters of the park and on federal or state provincial owned land. The land must not be private property, as the spirit of POTA program as the spirit of the POTA program is to get out of the house and operate. But you can do it from a vehicle, park bench, various methods, etc. Use the map on the POTA site in combination with Google Maps and official park sites to find the official boundaries. If the park is part of the trail system or river, you need to be within 100 feet of the trail or river. You may never trespass on private property to access state or / provincial or federal lands without permission. You are taking part in this program at your own risk to following the law. The hunter can contact the activator from home or any other property. You can only work from one reference at a time. If you are in a park that is a sub-region of a larger park.
Yeah. Hey, Noel.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is one of the things that actually has changed.
Okay.
That was a limitation of the back-end systems back in the day, that they couldn't process logs. As it stands today, it is possible to work a 2-fer or a 3-fer or a 4-fer or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
If you happen to be at a spot where let's say you're in a state park that happens to be within a national forest, and if you get lucky, some sort of a trail runs through there. You might be in a spot where there are 3 different entities that all qualify as being part of the Parks on the Air program, coexist at a certain piece of geography. So if you're at that spot, you can activate, that's what we call it when you set up your radio on spot, you can activate all 3 of those simultaneously. You'll have to submit separate logs for all 3 of them, but they'll all have the same QSOs in them and they can all be done at the same time.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Matt. Thanks
No
for jumping.
worries.
And I think I remember Bob mentioning that to me earlier this week also. So thanks for jumping in there and clarifying that. Okay, so then let's see. You must make a minimum of 10 QSOs for your activity to count towards a POTA activation. So in other words, you have to make a minimum of 10 contacts in order for that activation to be to qualify. It'll make it an official activation. This must be done within the same day in Zulu time. So in other words, from 0000 UTC to 2359, or your call, because once you cross over, then it counts as the next day. So if you're working, if you started your activation at 2340 and you cross over, then you need to see how many contacts you made the day before and the day after. So you have to be careful with that. And hunters still gain credit even if the activator hasn't reached 10. So even if you go out as an activator and let's say you made eight contacts only, you still should submit your log to give the hunters credit for working that park, even though your activation doesn't qualify as an official activation. But at least the hunters will still get that credit.
Hey, Noel.
Yes. Go ahead, Bob.
Just one thing about that. When you turn those 8 in, they may not qualify you as a successful activation. However, they still count in your totals towards the 1,000 kilo award, so like 1,000 from the same park, or they may help you down the line on other maybe park-to-park contact awards or other ones. So they're never, it's never unsuccessful. They may be used just in other things. That's all.
Okay. All right. I understand. Yeah. So it'll still count towards, it'll accumulate for you. Is just, just the activation for the actual park would not qualify, but it'll help you in other aspects. So that's good to know. One log can cover multiple days of activity. This includes club call signs and multiple operators. Land repeaters are not allowed, but satellite contacts and all other types are permitted. So no repeaters. It has to be strictly RF contacts. Okay, so Parks on the Air approved parks. Yeah, so currently in the United States only, we have 7,261 parks that you can activate. And this is just a little screenshot from the actual website showing how you can you can search different parks, different entities, and there's many resources on the website. They have a nice map section, which is nicely detailed. Again, this is another screenshot. And you can zoom in and out, and you can click on these little teardrop thingies, and it shows you the name of the park and the park number. So it's very nice the way they have the website set up. Let's see, equipment for portable operations. I mean, I have to say a lot of people have a pretty good idea of what it takes to work a portable station. I mean, a lot of us participate in field day, and depending on how creative you are, is how you're gonna power up your station and set things up, right? So let's see, transceivers can be HF, VHF, UHF. Most activators use HF though. Power source, batteries, solar power, mostly used to recharge the batteries. I'm working on doing something like that actually, using a solar power setup, and 12 volt AC power supply. I would say, I don't know about AC power supply, maybe DC. I'm not sure about that. Any type of antenna can be used.
Yeah. No, sorry. This
Go
came
ahead.
up actually in the last activator training video. What you'll find is that when you go a lot of park settings, if you're in, say, a park pavilion someplace, or maybe you've reserved a spot in a campground that happens to be in a park somewhere, you will
Right.
find that they do in fact have AC power available, just like you've got at home. There's an outlet you can plug into. So if you bring the right power supply,
Yeah.
you can plug in and run off 110 volts or whatever. So I think that's where that was headed. It's not the majority of the time, you're right, like well into the 90th percentile of people are running off of batteries, but it does come up here and there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's a very that's a good example of the varieties we have for parks on the air. Where even though there are restrictions in certain areas, but it shows you how flexible it is too. Where like Matt said, if you're out camping for the weekend and they have an outlet there, using a power supply is permitted. At the end of the day, you're outside, you're portable, and you're enjoying the great outdoors. So yeah, as far as antennas, any type of antenna can be used. These include mobile antennas, pole mounted or tree supported wire antennas, vertical whips, and others. Antenna tuning equipment, coax, adapters, microphone headsets or CW keys. So it's all basically the same stuff you would use, in any other ham radio station. Logging equipment can be pen and paper or a laptop computer, iPad. I like using the iPad, actually. It's very portable, easy to carry around. Audio interface for digital modes and satellite modes. And also, this one's pretty cool. You see it a lot on the Parks on the Air Facebook page, where the guys go out and they set up their flags and signage and show off your POTA activation, and you get the spectators to come over and start asking questions. That's funny because that can be a good thing because you're promoting ham radio and teaching others about what we do. And I'm all for that, educating the public. But sometimes you're like in the middle of a pileup and you get like one guy, hey, what are you doing?
NUG QRZ. Whiskey 2 Mike Sierra Alpha. Whiskey 2 Mike Sierra Alpha. You are 5-7 into Kilo 3101 in Vermont. QSL, thank you for the 5-7. You're also 5-7 into North Carolina, over. Okay, QSL, thanks for the 5-7 into North Carolina. Appreciate the contact this evening. QSL, thank you for the activation and wish you all the best. 73. Okay, 73. Enjoy your evening. N1 NUG QRZ.